I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakutash, double honors unto the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Salutation to you, Akim, pushing this word in sincerity and truth. This is your brother Yasad back at you with another lesson, Will 35. Now, the video that I'll be going into is, will there be slaves in the kingdom to come? Right? Because as we know throughout history, roughly around um 250 years to 300 years, an empire always is basically like our next empire comes into rulership, right? As we see many kingdoms, many um many different nations and whatnot have passed and ruled: the Egyptians, the Medo-Persians, the Grecians, the Romans, and right now we actually still under basically the Roman Empire, but under the revived Roman Empire, right? And yes, even in this kingdom right now, there are slaves, you know, they are subjects and servants, right? And as the scripture says, the same thing which had been, which the same thing which is now, it has already been. I'll get that after. I'll get that first. Ecclesiastes 1:9. So, right, it said, the thing that had been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. It are not new under the sun, so same thing, there is servants and servitudes in this kingdom. I mean, it may not, well, basically it's the same thing, just slaves on a more psychological um level, right? Because this man here make the people think that they are not, servants and servitudes, but look at it. It's just same thing. Look at the empires are all. You would it have the military, the police force. Same thing it had back then, where they were paying in maybe a different currency, silver or whatsoever monetary system they had before. Nurses, doctors, teachers, builders. Same thing in this time, not new under the sun, right? Nothing different, and we know the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, right? The so-called banking families, the 13 banking families actually in power, the so-called white man. They are actually the rulers of this world, right? The DuPonts, the Rothschild, the Rockefellers, they are the ones that are actually in power, and they control the monetary system. Basically, they are the owners of the central banks, and what operates the country would be the money, the economics, and the military part, the enforcing of the laws and whatnot, right? That's why I think is one of the Rothschild. There are many different quotes, this as one pertaining to, I'll get to there now. Yeah, well, select is this one is from Mayor Amschel Rothschild. Let me issue and control a nation's money and I care not who writes the laws. Another one here from Nathan Mayer Rothschild. Who controls the issuance of money controls the government. So one is saying, right? Let me issue and control the nation's money. Here care who writes the laws, right? So, and this is the next one saying, who controls the ensure that the issuance, so the one who is basically who has the money would be controlling the government, which the government would be writing the laws. So they would control the laws and the measures that are being carried out onto the people. So you get the understanding there, right? So going back, because the scripture even says money does answer all things, right? Um, a feast is made for laughter and wine. Sarah, Ecclesiastes 10:19. A feast is made for laughter and wine make it merry, but money answered all things. Just as referring back to a gift, it does blind the heart, and is pervert or or distort the judgment of the righteous, basically, right? It could make you, by you being favored and given a gift, it could make you send forth wrongful judgments. And this is what we see in many occasions, right? Even into so-called leaders of the people of Israel up to today, right? They they find themselves into that position because of the bad, the gift, the cares of this life. They regard the truth for what it is and preach unto the people lies and rubbish. But let's just go straight going into the Isaiah 14, because I'll bring Isaiah 2 and 1 first, 2 and verses 2 first, because the kingdom to come would basically the rulership would be handed over unto who? The children of Israel, starting off with Yahushai, King David, the 144,000 being the governmental structure. Isaiah 2 and 1, and it shall come to the pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. Yes, so basically being established, on top of all the hills, going back into all the other governmental structures that you're seeing upon the face of the earth right now, right? That's why when the Lord, the scripture that speak of the Lord, he had many crowns, would basically represent the bringing down of all these different, rulerships, empires, under his feet, right? And many people shall go and say, come up and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the power of who? Of Jacob, of Israel, the Israelites. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. Yeah, because when a nation or a people come into power, and rulership, basically, they are the ones to issue the laws, unto the people, right? So not new. That is why, as we just gone into the quotes, Rothschild, Rockefeller, showing you that, the ones who basically control the money and the affairs, because basically the scripture said that, and the saints of the Most High gonna take the kingdom, The book of Daniel. Um, Daniel 7 and 18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even ever, forever and ever. So the saints of the Most High, which is the Israelites, the saints going back to the elect. That's why in Isaiah say, Israel, mine elect. Right, in the Peter as well. It's Isaiah 45:4. For Jacob, my servant's sake. And Israel, mine elect, I have called thee by thy name, I have surnamed thee, though thou hast not known me. Right? Also, the Peter that says, ye are a royal priesthood, going back to the saints, a holy people separate unto the Lord to bring forth his praises. Right? Let's get it. 1 Peter 2:9, but ye are a chosen generation, a holy priesthood, an unholy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should shew forth the praises of him who hath called you out of the darkness into his marvelous light. The man, I believe, right, into the interliner in the Blue Letter Bible for the word priesthood. Alright, let's see. In the Greek,
Strong's G 2406, hieratuma.
The office of a priest, the order or body of priests. Right, the priestly fraternity. Right. Yeah. So let's get back. Right. So the priests, they're gonna take the saints. They're gonna take the kingdom. Right, which are the Israelites. The Sirach. Let's see. 10 and alright, Sirach chapter 10 and verses 4. Alright. I'm gonna jump down to I'm gonna start at verses 8 and then I'll go back at 4. Let's say, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. And clearly you actually see in this current kingdom, a lot on unrighteous dealings, corruption, because this man kingdom is basically built upon blood. His whole empire is built upon blood. Where the scripture says, woe to the bloody city, and woe to him that buildeth his city upon blood. Right? Habakkuk 2 speaks on that let's just get Habakkuk 2 and then we will go to Micah 2 as well. Habakkuk 2 and verses 5, ye also, because he transgressed by wine, by his doctrines. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desires health, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations, and heap it unto him all people. Right? Micah 2. The Micah 2 would bring it clearly how this man got all his riches. Micah 2 and verses 2, woe to him that device iniquity and work evil upon their beds. The round table would they discuss, about their plans. On the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. And they covered fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. That is why this man is able to extend his empire throughout the four corners of the earth through bloodshed, and bringing havoc to the nations. It says, and take them away, so they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. Right? Yeah, for the empire to be established, a part of it was, putting the children of Israel into slavery. That was also a part. They even stripped us from our heritage. They even call themselves us. That's why the Lord said, them that say they are Jews and are not, what is of the synagogue of Satan. Yeah. Hey, that is a big reason why there is no peace in the land right now, currently. No peace. And there's not gonna be no peace until the true rulers come back to the land. The Lord, establishes the true originators that the Lord, set up the land for. There's only one day come back into that land, and the Lord establishes them there. That is when everything would be peaceable. What the scripture say, when the Genesis, in the book of Genesis, when Abraham blessed Isaac, Isaac blessed Esau. He said, he dwelling be the fatness of the earth and whatnot, and what thou shalt live by the sword. Look at the Renaissance period. This is through mass slaughter and whatnot. That is how this man gains the position that he holds now. And through that being established, he have been making moves. Up to he will be looking to make his final draw for basically the birthright right now. There was World War One. He accomplished a lot. World War Two. This World War Three here, it's gonna be his ultimate plan to decrease the number of people upon the face of the earth through his biochemical weapons and all these things, and then bring that chaos upon the earth, and then what? Comes with his microchip and his digitalized monitoring system to gain that full control. But hey, his empire is at the end. That's why the Lord say he numbered them. He set a bounds that they can't pass. The book of Job 14. So yeah, because of unrighteous dealings, the kingdom is translated. It's riches got by the feet. The kingdom is translated from one people to another. Back to verses 10 and 4. The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it to one that is profitable. And that one that is profitable is Yahushua under the rulership of King David. That's why the Amos say he building back the house of David as it was in old. Right? Look at that. Amos 9 and 11. In that day I will raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old. And this here is where the part it's gonna have slaves comes in, because when Israel, Yahushua comes through the clouds, and we casting all these judgments upon the heathens and whatnot, and we gain back the rulership. This is what's gonna take place, and this is where the slaves would come in. Verse 12, that they may possess the remnant of Edom and of all the heathen, which are called by my name, saith the Lord that doeth this. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper. Because right now, when you look at Jacob, Jacob is in the lowest states. And the ones who have it a little thing up there, which basically is nothing that paper money, having a little vanity and whatnot, is nothing compared to what the rulers of the world has, right? But they only have that because they join with the wicked, they joined with the wicked. Let's say, the plowman shall overtake the reaper, and the trader of grapes him that soweth seed, and the mountain shall drop sweet wine, and all the hills shall melt. Right? So that is why the prophecy is here. Now when we get back the rulership, in Jeremiah 16, it said, therefore all that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them shall go into captivity. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. Yeah, because that is what is coming. Right? All these nations that oppressed us, we gonna oppress them. That is why the patience of the saints, Revelation 12 and 10. No, so 13 and 10. Right, verse 9. If a man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Right? So they that killed us, they that put us into captivity and did all these things unto us, when we get the rulership, we're going to return the favor. And after all these nations, we have them, because the scriptures say, they're going to build up our walls, Isaiah 60. And 10, and the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy upon thee. And jump into verse 12. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish, yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. So when we come into rulership, they all these nations is gonna serve us. Verse 14, jump into verse 14. The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee, and all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the sole of thy feet. But showing, they acknowledging us as their rulers, as the reapers. And they shall call thee the holy seat, the city of the Lord, the Zion, or the monument of the Holy One of Israel. That is why I also bring the Isaiah 14 and say, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and will set them in their own land, and the strangers shall join with them, the Israelite foreigners, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place. This is talking about you heathens. We're going to take you. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord, for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, the point, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. So that way it's coming to. When the next kingdom establishes and win rulership, you see now you are us in slavery, you all gonna be the slave, but you all gonna receive double. Sevenfold, we're gonna burn it upon you all with joy. Right? I'll enough in this last precept, Psalms 149. And verses 6. Let the high praises of Yahweh be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in your hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people, to bind their king with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all the saints, praise ye Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai. And enough for that. Because you all gonna be our servants in that time. You know? Hopefully this lesson was edifying. All praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai. Till the next one, Shalom.